How we doing, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I thought I would do a video on what it's like to own a pet when you're abroad, specifically in the UAE. It is a very hot country. I mean, it's the 1st of December and we're out on a dog walk in shorts and I'm wearing a vest. How it's like to own a pet out here. Now, you can just about see him in the background and you've seen him in the beginning of this video. Daisy and I have got a husky. He is a rescue husky, and I'll explain a little bit about how Daisy got him. But this is something that I know some people have asked me about. There's been questions about it. I know lots of people out here have pets. And I just wanted to do a little bit of a video talking about how to get a pet out here, managing a pet where, you know, if you've got a dog, for instance, where you can walk them, and all kinds of things like that. So if this is a video that you're interested in, if you're thinking about moving abroad and you've got a pet, a dog, a cat, whatever, or if you're thinking about moving abroad and want to buy a pet, this might be the video for you. So before we get into anything, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below if you want to know anything more, and let's get into the video. So before I get into the video fully, allow me to introduce you to the main guy himself. This is Zuko. He is currently having a great time sniffing around in the sand. Daisy has had him for what, 2 years?
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, she rescued him during lockdown. He was actually abandoned out here in Al Ain, and he was found running around on the streets. So during lockdown, Daisy picked him up, basically, went to the vets, and yeah, like I say, he'd been abandoned, and so he was in need of a home. He has, sadly in that process, got a bit of a bad foot, so he does walk with a little bit of a limp, but he manages it, and it's, you know, Daisy's been able to provide him with a much happier life than he had before. I think the vets said he was about 1 year old when they found him, and like I say, he was just walking around the streets by himself, no owners, no sign of any owners or history, so he's a bit of an anomaly. I don't think anyone really knows what his backstory is, but he is a younger dog. And yeah, he's now living his best life, enjoying nice walks around. Well, we're just at the back of the golf club now, but yeah, so that's Zuko. So in terms of actually owning a pet out here, it is very similar, I suppose, to owning a pet back at home. I would say that there are fewer places to walk a dog, just because a lot of the parks and places that you would want to take your dog to, like beaches, if you're down in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, they want to preserve them for people. So a lot of these places you can't walk dogs, but there are many places like where we are now where we can take him for a walk, so he can get lots of really nice walks in. And in terms of living with a dog, it really depends on your accommodation. Now, we live in an apartment, and we can have the dog in the apartment, but there are many villas out here, so we know people that have got villas that have little outdoor spaces, and obviously it's a villa, so you can have a pet and you can keep the pet outside. But that's exactly the same as what it is in the UK. You know, there'll be some apartments with landlords that don't want you to own pets, and then others that are okay with it as long as you make sure you look after them, keep the noise down, and things like that. So owning them out here is really not that bad. Now, in terms of having a pet, especially a dog, out here, obviously the temperature is a big thing that we need to consider. Yes, it gets very hot out here, especially in the summer, but fortunately all the architecture out here is designed for the heat, right? So all of the apartments, the villas, the buildings out here, they are all tiled. They've all got good air conditioning units in place, obviously for us as much as for these guys, so they can be very, very comfortable. Now, obviously, if you've got a dog, I suppose it's kind of the same with a cat, not that you're going to walk a cat, but obviously in the summer you wouldn't be taking the dog out during the day because it's far too hot, hottest it gets out here is about 50 degrees, but you can take them in the morning and in the evenings before the sun's come up or just as the sun's coming up, and it is warm but it's comfortable. We're in the winter now, so it is currently 9:20. It's getting warmer, but he's fine, he's happy. So yeah, winter you can pretty much take them out whenever you want, but in the summer you just have to be aware of the heat during the day.
Can I ask you a question? What's this?
Come on!
Here! Don't go with mugging me off. Here! Good boy.
Hey buddy!
Good boy.
Good boy. So obviously part of owning a pet would be the vets and the vet systems, and you might wonder what the vets are like out here. Now, I don't really have much experience of this. Daisy's been taking this guy to a place, Royal.
Royal's where I take him to board, and then Paws and Claws is where he goes for the vet.
Okay, so there's 2 vets. If Daisy or I want to go away for the weekend, for instance, and we don't have anyone that can look after him, we'll take him to one vet, and so we can pay to have him board. It's a bit like a sleepover for dogs, and he gets to socialise with loads of other dogs. And the vets know him really well. So that's really nice. So there are vets out here that will take your dogs on. I think that's a little bit different to the UK. Typically you have to find like a dog owner or something that will support you and look after your dog for you. So we've got that. Insurance wise, there is no insurance, is there?
When I got Zuko, I couldn't find insurance. I don't know if it is a thing out here or just not in Alain. So when he does get sick or anything like that, it's probably a lot more expensive than if you're back somewhere that does have pet insurance.
Obviously in the UK, I mean, my parents have got a dog in the UK, so they will pay for a yearly insurance, and she has unfortunately been ill a few times, which has saved them loads of money. Still expensive, but it saves them money. But yeah, that is something that you might need to consider out here, that there might not be the same sort of insurance, pet insurance, that you would get back in your home country.
Yeah, anytime he's had any problems, they've been really helpful. They do thorough checkups. Even when there's nothing wrong with him, they'll still check everything that they could possibly. So yeah, he's never been sick for very long because they do a good job.
There you go. And I can say when the last time, well, after the summer, because obviously Daisy had to leave Zuko in whilst we all went off travelling, they left a little update letter, didn't they? They wrote Daisy a letter to talk about all of the things that Zuko had been up to over the period of time that Daisy had left him with the vets. So it sounded like he had a great time. He loves going down there because he gets to meet loads of other dogs and socialise and stuff like that. So that is, yeah, so it's good. There are good things in place.
So where we take him, like Alex said, when we go away for a short time or a long time, they have like loads of outdoor spaces for the dogs as well, which is great. They've got like a sandy area, they've got an indoor space for them to run around in, so whether it's hot or cold, there's somewhere that all the dogs that are staying can run and play about. It doubles up as a vet as well, so if you're away and your pet does get sick, you don't need to worry because there's vets there that can look after them. And when I was away for the summer, which was 6 weeks, it was a long time to be away from him. And every week they send you like messages and pictures and videos of your pet, so they keep you updated, which is really nice.
In terms of moving pets abroad, neither of us can really talk on that because we've not had to do it. Like I say, Daisy rescued Zuko. But in the future, that is something that we're going to have to consider. We know that the vets that Daisy normally takes Zuko to, the one that we've just been speaking about, they do have a service where you pay them and they sort all the paperwork out for you, and I suppose drop the dog off to them and they manage it all for you and get him, in this case, on the airplane and to the destination safely. I know it's not cheap, and I think for dogs, cats, all kinds of animals really, it depends on weight, it depends on the size of the animal. So I think it really depends on what pet you've got, where you're flying to. Obviously, certain countries are going to have different rules. So that's something you'll have to look into. But like I say, that's something that we're going to be looking into in the next couple of years, I expect. And when we do that, we know that the vets out here at least will manage that and take all that pressure off us, which is really good. What are you doing, Zooks? What are you doing? What are we doing? Wait. Hey. You gonna say hello? Hey, let's go. Good boy. Now we have to go back the other side. Should we go the other side? Let's go. Yeah! Woo!
Zuko! Zoom!
Exactly.
So you'll also see that Daisy's currently got a rucksack on her back. Now, every walk we go on, pretty much, we always bring this rucksack. It's got the same standard things that you'd have if you were taking a dog on a walk. You got poo bags and things like that. But a really important thing out here is obviously water. The dogs get very dehydrated, especially because, one, it's very hot, but also there's a lot of dust and sand out here. And because Zuko has his bad foot, it's quite flat. So when he walks, he often scoops sand up into his mouth, bless him. Zooks, you've got an awfully sandy mouth, mate. Oh dear. The water's also good for us too. In terms of feeding your pet, I'd say it's fairly similar to back home in the UK. You can buy standard pet food in all of the supermarkets out here. Zuko has special food, of course, because he's a special boy. No, but he's had a few occasions where he's had a poor reaction to eating. So Daisy's got him on a special diet. So he's got the special dog food that's sort of gentle on his gut. So it costs a little bit more because of that, but again, that would be the same as in your home country. We also buy sort of treats for him, like these duck bite things. These cost 17 dirham, which is what, £3, £3, something like that. So again, you can buy lots of things out here, dog toys, chews, etc., either on Amazon or online in the supermarkets, and all the vets have loads of stuff. So again, because he's on special food, we often go and get his food from the vet. And I think the last load that we bought, so we bought a big, was it 8 kilo bag? Big 8 kilo bag, some small tins and some treats. It came to about £100, but that should last him for quite a while until we need to get the next lot. So yeah, it's easy enough to buy, and they have a big variety out here. So one thing that you might notice if you live out here in the UAE is there aren't an abundance of dogs. Unlike in many, well, your home country, wherever that might be, in the UK especially, you go on a walk and you're almost guaranteed to walk past a dog owner. Out here, it's not so much the case. Unfortunately, that means that we have to specifically go and find friends. Unfortunately, we've got a few friends that have dogs. Obviously, when he goes and stays at the vets, there are other dogs he can socialise with. But there aren't that many dog owners that are just taking their dog for a walk around here. What that means is you get some interesting responses from a lot of the locals and the children and people around. Often the kids bark back at him, or they come running up because they want to stroke him. So obviously for a rescue, that can be a little bit daunting. So we have to be aware of that, and we have to sort of manage him and help him, and also speak with the children or the adults to sort of explain not to run up close to him because that might scare him. But yeah, you don't see much of that. Cats, on the other hand, are everywhere. There are strays everywhere out here. They're all over the place. I think probably because they breed outside, but also I expect there's a lot of cases similar to Zuko where people get them as pets and maybe don't want them anymore, or the cats walk away. But yeah, I mean, Daisy in her last place had a litter of kittens on the balcony. So yeah, there are cats everywhere, but dog owners, not so much. So there are a lot of rescue animals out here. Like I say, he's now having a bit of a chill. Zuko was a rescue. Daisy rescued him during sort of COVID because he was left on the street. There are loads though, aren't there?
Yeah, especially cats, like Alex said. Like, there's just cats everywhere you move to. There'll be loads of stray cats. So people do try and rescue them off the street if they can, but there's just so many, and there's so many rescue dogs out there as well that have just been dumped. We have 3 different friends who have all got rescue dogs out here now, so 4 of them all in total, but there's so many more as well.
Yeah, I don't actually know anyone who's bought a dog. Do you know someone who's bought a dog?
No.
So there are lots of rescues, and actually I mentioned just now that there was a cat that gave birth on Daisy's old balcony, and we went to a vet to see if the vet would take the cats and the kitten on, and the vet even said they've got an abundance of them. I think he said there was something like 3 or 4 cats downstairs. There were more upstairs. So if anything, the vets are overflowing probably with rescue animals. So if you do come out to this part of the world and you are interested in getting an animal, the first thing I'd suggest is going and looking at getting a rescue. Naturally, rescues, depending on their history, they can come with, I don't know how to describe it. Personalities, that's a good way of putting it. Personalities, because it depends on what they've had in their previous life. Zuko is an interesting character. He's a lot of fun. He's a great dog, but he does get quite nervous around things because, again, we don't know what happened to him in the past. So that is something to consider, but I would say rescuing is the best choice for getting a pet out here.
Also, there's a fostering programs, which is what I originally did with Zuko. So I think Alex mentioned it was lockdown, and so all the shelters were really advertising fostering pets, fostering cats, fostering dogs, which is where you take them, you look after them for a certain amount of time. Then after this time's up, you can choose whether you want to fully adopt the animal or it can go to a different foster home, something like that. So if you can't make a long-term commitment to a pet, fostering's a really good solution as well, because it gets them out of the shelters, gives them a bit of a happier life. And I won't lie, never intended to adopt, but after you've fostered for a while, it's hard not to.
Zooks, are you ready to carry on with the walk? He's going on a little adventure now, isn't he? Come on, Em. You coming? Come on. Come on. Where have you gone? Go back to Mummy. Come on, let's go this way. Let's go this way. Come on. Let's go. He's left me. He's enjoying himself on top of his car. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. I hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said at the beginning, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all those good things. Yeah, we're going to carry on with the dog walk. I'll see you in the next one.